What is up, Dallas Cowboys fans? It's your old friend IndyCar Tim here once again. Trying to fight through a weekend when headlines are dominated by Micah Parsons versus Jerry Jones and versus Stephen Jones, and Micah hates the Cowboys, and do the Cowboys hate Micah back, and just so much to fight through on a hot, steamy, dung-filled Saturday of no sports. And this is really all we have to talk about, isn't it? As training camp continues throughout the NFL. But, of course, the leading headline in and around Dallas and really through the NFL is Micah Parsons, his trade demand from Friday. Where are we? How did we get here? Who's at fault? All of it. And, of course, it didn't take long for media members from other teams and that cover other teams to link Micah Parsons already to the Cleveland Browns, the Washington Commanders, the Chargers, everybody, the Buccaneers. There's stories all over. You guys have all seen them all over the intrawebs about how can our team get Micah Parsons? Well, first of all, it still might not happen, okay? It's probably not going to happen. I would say the odds of a Micah Parsons trade to be less than 10% right now. Because, well, first of all, he's still under contract, so either he plays for the Cowboys next year or he sits out or he plays somewhere else. And for that to happen, the Cowboys have to agree to a trade. But the likelihood of that happening, I don't think is very good. Like I said, I would put it at less than 10%, which is probably twice as much as I would have put it yesterday. I just don't think he's going anywhere. But let's talk a little bit about kind of how we got here and how this thing could go. And in a hypothetical situation, what could the Cowboys get from Micah Parsons? So, of course, the Cowboys kicked off training camp last week. Micah Parsons reported, but did not participate in any of the team activities as he is awaiting a contract extension. To go back further, for those that don't know, I don't know how you don't at this point, but if you don't know, the 2025 season is Micah Parsons' fifth-year option that the Dallas Cowboys picked up for his rookie deal. It's the last year of his deal. Going back to the end of the 2023 season, coming off of 3 straight All-Pro seasons, 3 straight Pro Bowls, Micah Parsons wanted to negotiate after the 2023 season. Jerry said, no thanks. Last season, Micah posted career lows across the board in numbers, but he missed 4 games because of injury. He still posted 12 sacks, 43 total tackles, 36 solo, I think, 6 quarterback hits. I mean, his numbers were still off the charts. It was his first season not being an All-Pro, but he still made the Pro Bowl. And right after the season, Micah says, hey, let's talk. Jerry Jones said, we're cool right now. So now Micah's going into his last year, and as Jerry does with just about everybody, don't forget, last year Dak and Lamb did not get their new deals until right before the season started. So that's kind of where everybody's thinking that this was going with Micah. However, on Friday, of course, Parsons had had enough. He finally posted on social media that he wanted out of Dallas. He said, quote, I no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. My trade request has been submitted to Stephen Jones personally, end quote. So even going back to the beginning of the offseason, the start of training camp, Micah said that he was not frustrated, but he was discouraged. Completely understandable. There have been no formal negotiations either between him or his agent, which he thinks is the first step to hammering out a deal, and he's right. And then he just became frustrated to the point that he made this trade demand. Not a request. It's a demand. What's the difference? I don't know. It's just wording, right? Of course, this was not taken lightly by Micah. He grew up as a Cowboys fan. He has discussed that his entire time here. Him and his dad up in Pennsylvania watched the Cowboys. So, yeah, when he was selected with the 12th overall pick on draft night in 2021, it just made things that much sweeter for him. But what led to him deciding to finally make the trade demand? He said, quote, repeated shots from the Cowboys, end quote, helped him make this decision. And if you remember at the opening of the opening news conference of training camp, Jerry Jones made kind of backhanded comments at Micah, saying that, even if they signed Parsons to an extension, it doesn't guarantee he's going to play for the team because he could, quote, get hit by a car, end quote. So Jerry Jones' behavior in this whole thing has just been erratic. It's been odd. It's been suspect. It's been questionable, all of the things. Because Micah had a few injury problems last year. 4 games is what he missed. Still made the Pro Bowl. And it's interesting, during times at training camp this year, you'll have the fans, pay Micah, pay Micah, pay Micah. Jerry Jones was asked about those comments. He said something to the effect, I'm not quoting it here, but he made the comparison, those are very faint compared to what we heard about Dak and CD last year. Implying backhandedly that the fans don't care as much about Micah as they did about Dak or CD Lamb. Stephen Jones commented on the chants from the fans. He said, they don't change anything. We want to pay Micah too, but he's got to want to get paid. Well, what the heck does that mean? He's the one trying to negotiate, Stephen. Where are you guys? But none of this is a surprise if you've been following the Cowboys for very long. Even though we've had the same situation, we just talked about with CD. We just talked about with Dak. If you recall back to Zeke's, after Zeke's first couple of years, he wanted a contract extension, and he still had 2 years left on his deal when he wanted a contract extension. Go all the way back to 1993 when Emmitt Smith held out for a contract. Missed the first 2 regular season games that year. By the way, the Cowboys started 0-2 and became the first team in the NFL to ever start a season 0-2 and win a Super Bowl. But none of those guys even threw out the word trade in their negotiations. Even Zach Martin's deal. So there have been situations recently when you've had guys in the same exact contract situation not play the trade card. I'm not implicating Micah for anything. I'm not saying he should or shouldn't do it. I don't know. I'm not in his situation. But we all know how it looks for the Cowboys. And I think the vast majority of fans are on Micah's side with this. Again, because of the behavior of Jerry Jones and just the way he's acted with all of this, even publicly. We don't know what's been said privately, but apparently not a lot, because there have been no formal negotiations, according to Micah. But when you look at the history, the Joneses have never lost a player that they wanted to keep. If he sits out, Micah's going to give up $50,000 a day of training camp. But the club, because of his contract, can rescind those fines at any time they want. We went through the same kind of thing with CD Lamb last season when he was holding out during camp. He ended up not even having to pay any of those fines. Ultimately, do I think something will get done? Yes, I do. Do I think Micah will stay with the Cowboys? Yes, I do. Do I think that he'll be happy in Dallas. Well, he's going to get paid. I think he ultimately will be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, which means he's going to make more than T.J. Watt, who's making $41 million a year after his deal that he just signed this offseason. So, I think it'll happen, boys and girls. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Is it to the point of no return for Micah? Is he that pissed off at the Joneses? Is he that pissed off at the Cowboys that he would throw away fulfilling his lifelong childhood dream of playing and finishing his career with the Dallas Cowboys over this? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It certainly seems feasible, though, right? But again, what could the Cowboys conceivably get in a potential trade? Because, that's the big question. And we all know what Jerry Jones has given up for players in the past when he's trying to get a player. They gave up way more than they should have for Trey Lance. They gave up way more than they should have for Jonathan Mingo. And you think when you've got the player, you hold the cards and you can dictate what you want in return. And whether teams want to pay that is up to them. But when you look at multiple first-round picks, when you look at I'm trying to find the article. I wrote an article earlier today over at CowboysCountry.com that was talking about the perfect comp. Adam Schefter came up with the perfect comp for a potential Micah Parsons trade right now. And it had to do with the Khalil Mack trade from 2018. So when Khalil Mack was traded in 2018, he was the toast of the town pass rusher, if you guys recall. He went from Oakland to Chicago. In order to get Khalil Mack, the Bears gave up 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a 6th-round pick, and got in return, of course, Mack, a second-round pick, and a conditional 5th-round pick. I think the Cowboys could get more than that in a trade for Parsons, because keep in mind, back when this trade was made, if you recall, teams at this point didn't really like to give up first-round picks. They were very, very hesitant to do that, except for in extreme situations. Since then, teams are a little more okay with that. As a matter of fact, it happens probably more than it should now. They might be too okay with it. But there's your starting point, I think. 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. What about 3 first-round picks? Or 2 firsts, a second, and a 5th? It's fun to talk about. It's fun to write about. It's fun to read about, I guess. Maybe not. But ultimately, like I said, I don't think that it comes to this. I think that before the regular season starts, like he always does, I believe Jerry's going to get a deal done, and Micah will be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL and the second highest paid player on the team behind Dak, who, in case you've forgotten, starts his brand new $60 million a year contract starting this year in 2025. So that's where we are. That's where we've been. I think that's how we got here, just to recap some things for you. We will always come back and make sure you guys are up to speed on just about everything in the Micah Parsons world and Dallas Cowboys world, training camp ahead of the 2025 NFL season. Let me know what you guys think at IndyCar Tim across all the social medias. Find me there. Follow me. I appreciate you. I'll follow you back. And then, of course, comment under the video section here in the comment section of the video on YouTube. Would love to hear from you. Would love to hear your thoughts moving forward. Where are we going with this? What's the ultimate solution? But we'll talk some more later in the week. I'm going to have fun this weekend. Go out and get me some drinks. You guys do the same. Be safe. And we'll talk to you next week right here on the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz. Until then, we'll see you.